Hey guys, welcome back. This is ChosenArchitect, and boy, today is going to be one crazy episode. So, I hope you guys are ready. So, we're going to be jumping back in today, and I think we need to get ourselves a storage system of some sort set up. And there's going to be a couple that I'm going to talk about today that you can actually do from the very beginning. I know I didn't do it from the very beginning, even though it is very useful. You can go ahead and make yourself some storage crates. You can go ahead and make one. I think the tier 2 is very accessible early game, but you can see this holds a lot of stuff. You place that next to your crafting station, and you can go ahead and craft things directly out of this storage crate. If you didn't know that, that's something you can do with Tinker's Constructs things. So if you do have a chest that is fairly large, place a crafting station next to it. Not only can you access the chest that is adjacent to it, you can also craft from it. So I'm gonna show you here. We don't have any of this stuff in our inventory. I'm gonna go ahead and make myself a quartz block, and you can see there, you know. And I'm gonna go ahead and place it in here. It is a little hard to get the block in here unless you scroll down to the empty slots, but I should have all these blocks in here, and that's gonna get ourselves a storage tablet, right? Can't do anything with a storage tablet just yet. It does require a little bit of power, some KEU, which I don't know exactly what kind of power the KEU is. I don't know if it's, oh, it looks like it's EU power. Ooh, so yes, it looks like RF Tools is going to require EU, but I don't know if there's any converters. So that might mean we need to get into EU power. There is a power converter. Converter kinetic, yeah, this is nothing. So yeah, I don't think there's going to be any kind of power conversion thing going on, but we might have to get into some EU power in order to get this thing charged up and powered. So anyways, we have the storage tablet, super useful device. We're going to go ahead and actually make some upgraded storage modules for this as well. I don't know if I have any wood inside here, at least enough to make chests, which I don't think I do. Of course, I don't see any. So it's kind of interesting. I didn't notice that that was EU powered based, but that is going to provide us a little bit of a challenge, which I am game for. Let's pop in here, grab some wood, make ourselves a few chests. There we go. And that's going to allow us to craft the rest of the upgrades. So getting this tablet is pretty nice early on. Like I said, the power is going to make this a little bit weird. So RF Tools. I wonder if all the RF Tool stuff is going to require different power. That'll be interesting to see that. I don't actually know. I wonder if this generator from RF Tools generates RF, or if it's going to generate, okay, this generates RF. I wonder if they're universal. I don't know. We're going to find out. I might try a few different things. But first of all, let's go ahead and get ourselves storage. And then we're going to get ourselves some storage modules. So we'll first start off with a tier 1. Then we're going to upgrade the tier 1 to a tier 2. And then upgrade the tier 2 to a tier 3. That's going to require 2 blocks of gold, 2 blocks of quartz, and a block of redstone. And there we go. We have a tier 3 module. We can combine that with our storage tablet, and that gets us a storage tablet. Oh, it uses RF. That's weird. It says energy RF, and then it also says EU at the bottom. So 0 EU of 5k EU. But the energy at the top says RF. Okay, so we're going to have to try 2 different things. First, we're going to try RF. So, Actually Additions has a pretty easy to get to charger. Of course, there are many chargers, I think. Even Ender.io has a charger, like the wired charger itself requires, actually this might be the one to make. This just requires electrical steel. And electrical steel is pretty simple to make. I think it, depending on what it's going to take to get this silicon, usually it's just sand to make this. So let's see, sag mill. So sand looks like how we can get it. Silt. Okay, so sand, right? It's 50% chance to get it from sand. Clay, Looks like there's a little bit of chance of getting it as well. So sand has a small chance of getting us that. Pop that open. And we'll see right here, that gets us some. Which is nice. That's going to get us plenty. Let's see. We don't have any more power left over. We do have a little bit of coal. We're going to go ahead and get that started. That's going to get that nice and powered up. And I'm going to switch this over to our alloy because if I'm going to make this wired charger, right, we're going to need iron, pulverized, and the silicon. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's all we need, I think, for the wired charger. We're going to need a little bit of the pulverized. And like I said, this is just a trial because this may not work. Like I said, it does. I did see the EU thing there, so it may actually require EU power. Hopefully it allows RF because that would make it a lot easier. So we do this alloys only. That should start processing this alloy. And while that's processing, we can go ahead and take a look at making some more of those cages that this is going to require, right? So this should be pretty simple. We're going to get ourselves a simple machine, and that just requires some iron. So I think we can actually craft it from in here. There we go. And we should have our powder in here. There we go. And once this is done processing, I'm going to go ahead and throw this in next with this, and that should start processing this next. Don't know why I placed that. But that'll get us started with that charger. Now, the only other charger that we have for EU is going to be getting ourselves a basic EU setup started with charcoal, and then have ourselves a bat box, and the bat box is going to be able to charge it. But I don't know if this has a specific tier. It does say power tier 1, so a bat box should be able to charge that fairly easy. All right, so it did look like it picked up cobblestone. It should pick this up. There we go. And that's everything we need to make this charger. Let's hope that this works. Like I said, if not, we do know now. And that should start picking up some power. I'm going to go ahead and remove this. And that's going to start building us some power. And okay, so it's running off of both EU and RF, which is wonderful. So we just got ourselves a lovely storage unit here, guys. I'm not joking. This is by far, I'm going to keep my dev null and everything in here. You got to make sure to keep stuff like this. I don't know how, some things can affect like bulk storages like this. We are going to throw this in here. I'm going to set this over here. You see right here where it says items are shown in list view. I'm going to set this to, instead of columns, it has 3 different modes. You have list, columns, and then you have icons. I like the icons. Everybody's used to the icons, so I'm going to leave that there. But you notice there's a crafting grid over here. That's right. All of this can now most likely be stored in here. This does hold quite a lot of things. I'm not going to lie. This does hold a lot. So it does hold 300 individual stacks of items. So 1 stack of iron nuggets is 1 stack out of 300. So it does hold a lot. And this can auto compact for you. So really you want to hold your bulk items in here. You don't want to have like your singular items really in here or machines. So after we get all of our stuff in here, we're going to do a clean out. And we're going to pull out some junk items that we really don't want in here. But for the most part, we want our craftable items to be stored in here. So I'm going to go around, pull out all the junk stuff that we don't want in here. We want most of our metals and crafting materials in here, because this is how we're going to start crafting many of our upgrading machines. And we're going to start setting goals for ourselves. We need to start setting goals like, well, what do we want to do? We want to make lava power? Do we want to make power that's infinite? Do we want to do things like that? We need to figure out those things, and we need to start working towards it. So today we're going to be setting up a pretty like rudimentary mob farm that should work actually really well. But it's not going to produce, you know, the experience that you may want, as we will work on that later. But I went ahead and made myself a little room here. And it kind of has the same feel as everything else with a you know, pad of dirt. And that dirt is going to be very important, because when we were in the Nether, we ended up getting ourselves a drop of evil. So I went ahead and made myself a vacuum hopper in advance, and I wanted to test it to see if it will pull through actual blocks. It doesn't. Now, I do believe the Ender hopper itself actually pulls through blocks, and then of course the pearled one does. And I believe the hopper hawks and so on, those do as well, but this one will not. But we're going to get around that right today. And I think there are a couple other, you can do vacuum as well. There are a couple of vacuum hoppers. So you have Ember's item vacuum. You also have a vacuum accumulator that is from thermal expansions. There's several different things you can use. You also have a vacuum chest from Ender.io and also an experience or an XP vacuum from Ender.io as well. This also requires a bucket of experience, by the way, in order to produce that. But all of these are viable. Today, we're going to be using a very simple vacuum hopper, which also does experience as well. Very configurable. And then we're also going to get ourselves some vector plates. Those are going to be from Dark Utilities. And Dark Utilities adds a lot of mob grinder type functionality, such as an Ender tether, which is actually going to be very useful in our particular farm. So I want to be able to utilize this maybe. That might be something we have to add later on though. But vector plates are definitely the thing we're going to need. And we need sugarcane, and we're going to need sugar, right, to make this. So let's go ahead and get ourselves a bit of sugarcane. We actually don't need many vector plates, as these do produce 18. But what I plan on doing is actually having some glass here. And I think we have lamps in here. Let's see. Like lapis lamps. I do believe, yes, we do have lapis lamps. So lapis lamps are really nice. We can actually put lights inside our mob farm, and this basically will not affect what light is given off from our mob farm. Now that may sound kind of crazy, but that is something that we can do. So I'm going to go ahead and make 3 of these. It's going to utilize some of our lapis. And what this does is going to provide light in the walls. So I'm going to go ahead and add it into the walls here. And this right here will provide light, but it's not light that will affect our mob spawning. I know, that sounds kind of crazy, but it really doesn't. It really doesn't affect it. But it will provide some light. Now, I do want to be able to see in here, and a good thing that we can use is going to be dark glass. I've used this so much in the past. We are going to need some black dye. I think we might be able to use... we might be able to find some black dye. We do have organic black dye. We're not going to need much of it, but we are going to need some of this. Some regular glass, which I don't have much glass, do I? That's going to be something we have to work towards. So 12? 12 might work. So we have to cook this up. We should be able to just throw this inside our smelter. That's going to cook that up real quick. Let's look at the black dye we might have. So I do know we have 1 piece of organic black dye, but I don't think that is all. So I don't think we can search black dye, but we can search dye, and we do have these. I don't think it's listed in here, but I'm pretty sure we could probably, you know, go above ground and find some black dye pretty easy. Actually, Additions adds some flowers. Of course, if it's not dark, yeah, it being dark is not going to help us find them. But usually you will find every now and then there'll be a couple of flowers sticking up that are black dye. But I'm going to go ahead and sleep, and then we can go look for them. So getting into Botania is also another method that you can use, but I believe this, yeah, the Black Lotus right here, this guy will give you black dye, and I don't know if there is a grinder recipe. This is a chance of giving you 3, so it's probably best for us to put that in the sag mill. Yeah, you should be able to just wander around here and there and be able to find a few of these. Yeah, these are going to give us plenty of black dye, and they're, you know, they're pretty, they spawn pretty frequently. So like right here. And that should be it. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw that in our grinder, and we're gonna grind that puppy right up. So we really don't need 12 of the dark glass, but that's gonna be a pretty decent number. Let's go ahead and take those vector plates that we ended up getting, and we want to arrange these in a place that's going to work for us. And I think right in here is going to be a pretty good place. I want to force all the mobs in this direction. right? And that should do a pretty good job of doing that, right? You can hold shift to place these. That way it doesn't move you around. Let's go ahead and remove our torch. And I also want to force the mobs in this direction as well. Right, I want them to land right here. The reason I want them to land here is because we're going to make just some simple Punji Sticks. It's probably the cheapest way to kill mobs. You can use spikes, but believe me, Punji Sticks are going to be one of the simpler ways of doing this. Now, how do Punji Sticks work? Well, you could just place them on the ground, but I think I'm going to end up with an issue here. So if we were to place, let's for example, place some dirt down. And we're also need to probably break into the wall because we're going to have to utilize this side area for what I'm about to do. So I want to go ahead and place my vacuum hopper here. I don't want to let any light in, so we have to use some slabs. So let's go ahead and use some slabs. I think we have some laying around. There we go. So we throw some slabs under here, right? Now, I believe the Punji Sticks are going to block that. So the only way to test it is, I guess, to throw items on top of the Punji Sticks. And you know what? They actually go through. I'm kind of surprised. So what if they get stuck behind? Like, ow. Let us not get hit with Punji Sticks. Okay, so you can see the Punji Sticks there. They are blocking. They are definitely blocking. So, with that in mind, I think I'm going to try and place them on the wall. Now, what's going to end up happening is we're going to end up with another kind of issue. I could just have them drop down. And if that's the case, this actually might work a little bit better. The mobs will just drop down. And now, if items are in here, they'll get pulled up. I think that's going to work a little bit better. It's not the prettiest thing in the world, not the prettiest setup, but believe me, this will actually function. Endermen should also be killed by Punji Sticks, and they won't give you too much of a fuss for doing so. So yeah, that's actually going to work quite well. So now that I'm comfortable with what my setup is going to be, I can go ahead and place the glass. Let's go ahead and pull this out. And that should be pretty much set up. Now, no light should be able to get in there. That should be pretty dark. The only thing we have left to do is to close this up. On this side, close it up on this side. That is technically completely dark in there. I know that sounds crazy, but it really is. We might need to go ahead and break just one of these side pieces. There we go. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just right-click on this block with the one item that is going to change this whole farm and make this guy rock and roll. And that is a drop of evil. So let's hit our drop of evil. That's going to change everything. Close this up. That should be completely dark in there. And you're going to see mobs are going to start spawning, killed, and their items should be starting to get collected in there. Alright, we do have one issue. Yeah, you see, they do get pushed down eventually, fall in, all the items are getting collected. Awesome. So, we are going to need a place to put all those items, and I think some storage drawers would be good. So, I think we have a bit of wood. Let's go ahead and grab a bit of wood. I'm going to go ahead and just make a bunch of chests. I think that'll be enough. I'm going to go ahead and make 2 of those. And I would, later on, we're going to set up storage drawers for the mob farm, but for right now, I think just going and using the actual editions crates is going to be good enough, because these provide quite a large storage space. And this is not producing experience, so we don't have to worry about experience collection. So, I'll just go ahead and place 2 of these here. We need to know our direction, so a good way of doing that is to probably hit F3. We're going north, so this will be north. Oh, spiders are going to give us a problem. I think I have a solution for spiders. I'll show you here in a second. But anyways, we need to tell this, not on this side, and this side are going to be sending items out, and that should be good. Okay, so the spider problem. Yeah, that's going to be a little bit of an issue. We probably need to add like a Punji stick to the top half. So let's open this up they are going to go a little bit crazy. Let's kill a couple of these spiders. I honestly forgot about spiders. Let's throw the Punji Sticks. I think they will stick to the glass. Yes. So there we go. Punji Sticks will stick. And that'll solve that. Also, other mobs might get stuck in there, but that's fine because they'll still get sucked through there. That should work. That should work perfectly, guys. Let's go ahead and close it back up. And there we go. I think one of those got sucked in one of the boxes. Yeah. Perfect. So technically, we have a functioning mob farm, just like you said we were going to have. And this is going to provide us with a little... Actually, it's going to provide us with experience without even needing it. We get solidified experience, which is honestly a good source of experience. And it's all going to pile up there. So, once we know what items we have, we can slowly start to build a storage room for this little mob farm that we have. Believe me, it's not the biggest mob farm. You can make them humongous if you want to. But, for me, I don't find that necessary. I find that over time, if I need to make more mob farms, I will start to make specific mob farms. So, and I don't want tons of mobs, especially near my base. It'll just cause more lag overall. And that's just not something I want to deal with. So if you notice, my armor is actually broken. I do have some pieces that are actually broken. We can actually repair the armor very easy with some osmium. So let's take some osmium. We can go up. There are repair kits that you can make, but they are specific to the Construct's armory. I believe they are this round piece right here. It's like a polishing stone, I think it's what it's called. But you can go ahead and pull your armor out. And luckily with this armor, it doesn't actually break like it says it's broken. You can just put another piece and bam, your armor is repaired now. And you can wear it again. Eventually we're going to add some stuff to this that's hopefully going to make the armor last a little bit longer. I do take a beating in this armor, but I do love it. And the more we use it, the more experience we gain. And you can see we have 4 modifiers for each one of these guys. So it's pretty nice. So I think a good way to end today's episode would probably be to go ahead and make a shuriken. Now, this is going to be a really nice shuriken. It's going to be unbreakable by the end of this episode, which is going to be super awesome. And the thing is also going to provide quite a lot of damage with upgrade potential to do even more damage. And plus this thing is also going to be unbreakable, which is pretty crazy in itself. So we are going to need manulin today. Some other materials that we're going to use is bone. So I am going to use bone. So it's going to be 2 parts bone, 1 part manulin, and the other part is going to be paper. Now we don't have any paper yet, but I can go ahead and get some. Let's go ahead and clear this guy out. I don't know why that was in there. And we'll go ahead and make ourselves some paper. Why not? So let's go ahead and make our bone blades. So there we go. We have 1 bone. I'm going to go ahead and make this with 2 bones. And the other one is going to be made with paper. I think this actually, oh, it does require 3 pieces of paper. Interesting. So, oh, nope, it needs more paper than that. More paper, please. 6, will that work? There we go. All right, so a paper knife blade. So the other one we have left is a manulin blade to make. And that's not gonna be too hard. Let's go ahead and get ourselves some manulin cooked up. We only need 1. And while we wait, we can go ahead and cast out some gold. So to do this, we are going to be casting out some blanks. That's right. These are going to require 2 gold apiece, and these are going to be just blanks. This is what we are actually going to be using to make our reinforcement modifiers. So let's take a look. These should still have the basic recipe. Yeah. Obsidian surrounding a cast will get us a reinforcement modifier. So this should be a pretty easy way of getting a really nice ranged weapon. And a lot of people are telling me, I need to make a bow, I need to make blah, blah, blah. Well, this is why I wanted to wait, because I feel like this is one of the most powerful weapons that you can get. It is super powerful. We have our 5 blank casts here. We need to go ahead and turn that off. Let's go ahead and get our knife blade in here. And this is going to be that manulin. We go ahead and pour that out. It should only be 1 part. And then we should end up with a shuriken that has 5 modifier slots on it. And those 5 modifier slots should allow us to make this thing unbreakable. So let's go ahead and see if that's the case. So I don't know if it matters which position you put this thing in, right? But we are going to get something that is going to have 5 attack damage, 35 ammo, and it's going to have 5 modifier slots by default. And of course we can arrange this however we feel like it. And I believe you can repair this one with bone as well, which is really nice, right? We can repair this with bone. So let's go ahead and pull this out. You see it's bone, manulin, and paper, and that first name, it should be what it is going to be repaired with. Perfect. So we have this thing. Let's go ahead and make the rest of our modifiers. So we're going to do modifiers and reinforcement modifiers. Let's go ahead and pull that up. And 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is what's going to make this thing unbreakable. Let's go ahead and add our modifiers. 1, 2. You keep seeing it's going up. Now it's reinforced 3, reinforced 4, reinforced 5, and this last one is going to make it officially unbreakable. So we now have a shuriken that will never break, right? Pretty nice. Now it will leave these guys all around, which is ammo. Unfortunately, we do not pick it up. I don't know if having 1 durability on your tool would allow you to pick those up. That would probably help a little bit with lag later on, but they do despawn after a certain period of time. But yeah, this guy produces 5 damage. It's a pretty decent thing. You have fractured and splintering, which we can repair this thing with bone sharpening kits, which is really nice. And as we get more, as we upgrade this more and more, you know, as we kill more and more mobs, like this should one-shot a cow. It's pretty, I mean, pretty powerful by default. The more we level this up, the more quartz we can put on it, and the more powerful we can make this thing overall. Pretty insane, guys. So I wanted to leave with that note. So this is going to make our trips to the Nether hopefully a lot easier. But I wanted to leave with that note since we were talking about mobs and such and all that goodness. So anyways, guys, I really appreciate it. I thank you guys, by the way, for all the amazing support and the thumbs up you guys have been giving these videos. It really means a lot to me. Also, all of you guys who have been subscribing recently, welcome new subscribers, by the way. I do appreciate you guys clicking that subscribe button and watching all the way to the end of the video. As always, guys, I really appreciate it. I'll see you in the next episode. And as always, thanks for watching.